joined today by the CEO of Nxt-ID, Gino Pereira. Gino, thank you for joining us here at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square.
Pleasure, Sylvia. Nice to be here.
I'd like to start off talking about your recent earnings result. You reported your second quarter, end of the first half of the year. Take us through some of your driving successes.
So really, our revenues and our profitability are driven by two customers of ours. In the LogicMark subsidiary that we have, which is in our healthcare division, the majority of our revenues are driven by our contract with the VA hospitals, and performance was very strong there. And on our payments division, our revenues and profitability were driven by our partnership with World Ventures for a product called Fly, which is a smart card that we have. So that card is in beta, and we've been delivering it to them in volume. So those are the two aspects that contributed to our growth.
Fantastic growth. What can we expect for the second half of this year?
Well, for the second half of the year, the LogicMark product continues to perform very strongly. We expect to see continued growth in that avenue. And with our payments division, as we get feedback from the beta testing that the Fly card has, we are going to take a bit of a pause and evaluate that information, design the improvements into the wider release card, and come out. So we may see a reduction in revenues from the Fly card side on a temporary basis until we incorporate those improvements, and then it'll be out to general launch with another, improved sales thereafter.
Over the past 15 months, you've also been very busy with some strategic acquisitions. Take us through the acquisition, FitPay and LogicMark.
Right, so the first one that we did in 2016 was a company called LogicMark. So LogicMark is a leader in what we call the non-monitored personal emergency response space. And personal emergency response devices are those where folks that fall down, mostly the elderly, they can press a button and immediately get help from 911. So the LogicMark model is one of a direct payment for a device, not through a service which requires a monthly payment. So we think it's a disruptive pricing model, and we'll be rolling that out further over the next couple of years. So that's LogicMark. Its current business performs very well, and we're also excited to integrate our advanced technologies into it so that you see that in wearable type devices going forward. FitPay was a key acquisition for us this year in 2016, and FitPay has a payment platform to enable all sorts of devices to make digital payments.
So with FitPay in particular, you have some very strategic partnerships such as Bank of America. How do they benefit your customers? Talk to us through all the partnerships.
Certainly. If you look at companies today that have enabled digital payments, you really are looking at some very, very large companies. You're looking at Apple, you're looking at Samsung, potentially Google. And so what FitPay does is it brings that technology to everybody else that wants to be in the marketplace. So we can supply the same type of advanced payment technology to all of these wonderful startups that you see in the IoT space, as well as very established competitors to Apple and Samsung that want quick entry into the market.
It's fascinating, and I understand that FitPay is also in the smart jewelry business. Could you explain how that works?
Certainly. So what we have is a platform that enables all sorts of devices, whether it be a watch, whether it be a phone, whether it be jewelry, whether it be a key fob. So we are partnered with a company called Token that has a really snazzy ring. It's biometrically enabled, good security, has our digital payment platform on it, so that's also very good security. And that's one of the first of devices that you'll see out there that enable you to really see how IoT actually works.
How is that doing? Is it getting demand in the market?
I believe that their pre-orders are sold out, so I think that they're doing well.
And product innovation is at the core of your company as well. You have a smart wallet known as Wallet that replaces all the cards in your wallet with one single card. How does that work? So
Wallet, we've kind of moved on from Wallet. Wallet was our original product, and it was done before the direction of EMV chips that the banks have gone into. So what Wallet was designed to be a vault, a personal vault that you carry around with you. And we had one card that could replace multiple cards in your wallet. But we've now moved on also to a contactless type environment with the banks, and that's what we're focused on. But all the technologies that we've developed for Wallet are all coming along into the future products that we have, and we may see a version 2 of Wallet that has contactless technology instead of having a contact card in it.
Seems great. And security, I'm sure, is at the core of everything that you do and is a hot topic these days. How are you protecting your users given the digital payment component?
So all of our, we're using something called tokens. So tokens are really the way of the future for everybody for digital protection. And what tokens do is they encrypt the actual information that you're passing, and they're often good for one use only. So we have tokens that are stored on a particular secure element within our devices, and they're released one at a time. And they're not of value to anyone after they get them. They'd have to decrypt them, and then they're no good to use after they're decrypted. So that's really the wave of the future in terms of protection of information.
And lastly, tell us a little bit about your background. You seem to have a tremendous background in financial technology. What led you to become the CEO of Nxt-ID?
So my background is mostly finance, and I've worked most of my career in either financial or general management capacity, either in healthcare or in technology-related type companies. And the company that I was CEO of prior to forming Nxt-ID was a public company that was doing a lot of sensor technologies, a lot of biometrics, mostly for the United States government. And when we sold that company, we took those technologies that we were able to take away and wanted to apply them to the general consumer market, and that's what we've done.
Well, you've picked a hot sector, and we congratulate you for all your recent success. Thank you for joining us here at the NASDAQ Market Site.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.